Why most people aren't respected. Ever walked into a room and felt like a ghost? Like you were there but completely invisible, just background noise to everyone else? You speak, you share your thoughts, but no one really listens. They talk over you, they dismiss you, and no matter what you do, it feels like respect is just out of reach. Here's the hard truth. Respect isn't about how loud you talk or how smart you sound. It's about how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. When someone challenges you, when the pressure's on. If you get defensive, if you feel the need to prove yourself, if you react emotionally, you lose instantly. People sense weakness and they treat you accordingly. But imagine this. What if you could stay calm no matter what? What if, instead of chasing respect, you became someone people couldn't ignore? That's what we're about to break down. Where does respect come from? Imagine ruling the greatest empire in the world, surrounded by people who smile in your face but plot against you behind closed doors. Every decision you make is judged. Every move you take is criticized. One wrong reaction could mean war, or worse, betrayal. But Marcus Aurelius, he never cracked, never lost his cool, because he knew something most people don't. True power is silent. People hated him, people challenged him, but he never reacted emotionally. He never let their words dictate his actions, because he understood one thing. Respect isn't earned through words, it's earned through presence. And that's the mistake most people make. They think they can demand respect, that if they talk louder, explain themselves more, or prove their worth, people will finally see their value. But that's not how it works. You can't force people to respect you, but you can become someone they have no choice but to respect. So how do you do that? Let's start with the first principle. 1. No one respects someone who loses control. Ever seen someone completely lose it in an argument? They get loud. Their words tumble out in frustration. Their face tightens. Their energy is frantic, desperate to prove something. And in that moment, they lose all respect. Because the second you let someone control your emotions, you give them power. And if you're not in control of yourself, why would anyone else take you seriously? The test of control. People don't push your buttons by accident. They do it to see what kind of person you are. Will you break? Will you lash out? Or will you stay calm, making them regret even trying? Think about Marcus Aurelius. As Emperor of Rome, he faced endless criticism, betrayal, and political attacks. If anyone had a reason to snap, it was him. But he never did, because he understood something most people don't. You don't have to have an opinion about everything. Not every insult deserves a reaction. Not every challenge needs an answer. Real power is choosing when to engage and when to stay silent. And here's the key. The people who get the most respect, they're never the ones scrambling to defend themselves. They speak when it matters, and when they do, people listen. So, how do you develop that level of control? How do you train yourself to respond only when it benefits you, and not just because someone provoked you? Let's talk about that. The Stoic Pause, how to stay in control. Next time someone tries to provoke you, do this instead. Pause for 3 seconds, say nothing, let the moment breathe. Take a slow, controlled breath. Reset yourself, lock eyes with them, hold the silence, let them feel it. Most people can't handle silence. They expect a reaction, anger, defensiveness, anything. When you don't give it to them, they start feeling uncomfortable. They realize they're not controlling the situation anymore. You are. Now, here's the question. What if silence isn't enough? What if the moment actually calls for you to speak? Because sometimes the right words said at the right time, are even more powerful than silence. Let's break that down next. 2. When to respond, when to ignore. Not all criticism is worth your time, but most people don't get that. They feel this need to respond, to explain themselves, to correct the record, to make sure everyone knows they're not what the other person says they are. But here's the truth. Trying to prove yourself to people who don't respect you is a waste of energy. So how do you know when to respond and when to just move on? The 3 types of criticism. Criticism that helps you grow. Even if it stings, it's worth listening to. The best people take this kind of feedback and get better. Criticism meant to tear you down. It's not about truth. It's about making you doubt yourself. Engaging only gives it power. Meaningless noise. The random hate, the pointless negativity. If someone is just talking to hear themselves speak, why bother giving them your attention? The biggest mistake people make. They treat every insult like it's a battle that needs to be fought. Someone doubts them. They jump in to explain. Someone mocks them. They fire back. Someone says something ridiculous. They argue, trying to win a debate that doesn't even matter. That's a trap. The 2-question rule. Before you react, stop and ask yourself, will responding actually change anything? Is this person even worth my time? Most of the time, the answer to both is no, and if that's the case, silence is your most powerful weapon. Why silence works? Imagine this. Someone throws an insult at you in front of others, expecting you to react. But you don't. You just look at them, maybe smirk, maybe shake your head. Then you go back to what you were doing, completely unbothered. That does more damage than any comeback ever could, because now they're the only one who looks desperate. But what if silence isn't enough? What if someone keeps coming at you, trying to get under your skin? Then it's time for something even more powerful. Let's get into that next. 3. How to handle haters with complete calm. Haters don't actually care about proving you wrong. They don't want a logical debate. They don't even need to be right. What they really want is a reaction. They want you to get mad, to defend yourself, to show that their words got to you, because the moment you react emotionally, they win, not because they were right, but because they made you lose control. Their goal isn't to destroy you, it's to make you destroy yourself. Think about it. When someone criticizes you, insults you, or tries to humiliate you in front of others, what's their real goal? They want you to crack. They want you to feel small, so that even if you lash out, you still look weak. That's why the most powerful response isn't anger, it's calm indifference. The unbreakable presence method. Next time someone tries to provoke you, try this. Don't react right away. Let the moment breathe. Give a small smirk. A subtle, almost amused smile, like you've seen this trick before and it doesn't impress you. Nod slightly, not in agreement, but as if to say, I see what you're trying to do. Say nothing or respond with something neutral. A simple, interesting, or that's one way to look at it. This response does 2 things. It makes them feel powerless because their words didn't shake you. It makes them look ridiculous for trying so hard to get a reaction. Because here's the thing, when you stop reacting, you stop feeding their game. They get frustrated, they get desperate. They either escalate, making themselves look unhinged, or they give up. How to train yourself to feel nothing, but let's be honest, this isn't always easy. Some words sting, some attacks feel personal. So how do you build the kind of mindset where nothing gets to you? That's what we'll break down next. The Stoic shield, deflecting every attack. Epictetus once said, "No one can hurt you unless you allow them to." That's a powerful idea. It means that criticism, insults, and negativity only have power if you accept them. Most people don't understand this. They take every comment personally, internalizing every insult like it's the truth. But here's the thing, just because someone says something about you doesn't mean it's real. Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "You have green hair." Would you get upset? Would you argue with them? Of course not. You'd laugh because you know it's not true. Yet, when someone calls you a failure or says you'll never be successful, why does it suddenly feel personal? Because deep down, a part of you believes it. That's why their words hurt. Words only hurt if you let them. Most people don't realize how much control they actually have. Someone calls them weak, and instead of shrugging it off, they start questioning themselves. Someone doubts their potential, and suddenly they feel the need to prove themselves. Someone throws an insult, and they react, handing over their power without even thinking. But here's the truth. A weak insult only works on a weak mind. If you know who you are, no one can shake you. Someone calls you a loser. If you believe them, it hurts. If you don't, it's just noise. Someone tells you you'll never make it. If you doubt yourself, it gets to you. If you don't, it's meaningless. The strongest people don't fight every battle. They don't defend themselves against every insult. They simply let the words bounce off them, because they know words only have power when you react. The Stoic Shield Exercise. Next time someone criticizes you, before you react, ask yourself two simple questions. Does this actually change anything about me? Is this person even important enough for me to care? Most of the time, the answer is no. And if that's the case, then why let it affect you? Why let someone's meaningless words disrupt your peace? Real power isn't proving yourself. It's knowing you don't have to. Weak minds fight every battle. Strong minds walk away from the ones that don't matter. When silence isn't enough. But let's be honest. Sometimes silence isn't the best option. Sometimes someone crosses the line. Sometimes a well-placed response can shift the entire dynamic in your favor. So when should you speak? And what should you say to shut someone down without losing control? That's what we'll break down next. 5. Using words and silence as weapons. Ever been in a conversation where someone just wouldn't stop talking? They explain, they over-explain, they justify themselves, and the more they talk, the less anyone actually listens. Now think about someone who speaks only when necessary. They don't argue, they don't rush to defend themselves, but when they finally say something, people pay attention. That's not an accident, that's power. Why less is more? People think respect comes from proving themselves, from making sure everyone understands their point of view. Wrong. Respect comes from not needing to prove anything at all. The more you talk, the more chances you give people to pick apart your words. The more you explain, the more desperate you sound. But when you say less, people have to lean in. The most respected people don't waste words. They don't argue just for the sake of arguing. They don't jump into every debate. They choose their moments. And when they do speak, it matters. How to shut someone down without saying much. The next time someone tries to provoke you, resist the urge to explain. Instead, keep it short. That's your opinion. All right. Fair enough. Noted. You're not agreeing. You're not defending. You're just ending the conversation before it even begins. And that frustrates people more than anything, because they don't get the reaction they wanted. When silence says everything, sometimes the strongest response isn't a response at all. Imagine someone trying to insult you, expecting you to get angry. But instead of reacting, you just look at them and say nothing. That silence, that pause, It says, "You're not even worth my energy." And that drives people crazy, because when they realize they don't have power over you, they either back off or they try even harder, making themselves look desperate. When to break the silence. But let's be real, sometimes silence isn't enough. Some people keep pushing, keep escalating, they're determined to get a reaction. So what do you do then? That's when you pull out the most powerful technique of all. Let's get into it next. 6. Let your actions speak louder than words. People waste so much energy trying to defend themselves. They argue, they explain, they try to convince others that they're right. But here's the thing, no one respects words without proof. You can spend hours debating, trying to prove yourself, or you can just win and let that be the answer. Why? Arguments are a waste of time. Ever notice that the most successful people rarely waste time arguing? It's not because they don't have something to say. It's because they don't need to say it. They know that the loudest person in the room isn't the most powerful. The person with results is. Because at the end of the day, success is undeniable. You don't need to explain why you're great if your actions already prove it. How to respond to criticism with results. Next time someone doubts you, calls you out, or questions your ability, don't waste time arguing. Do this instead. Say nothing. Let them talk. Let them underestimate you. Get to work. Pour your energy into proving yourself through action. Let time do the talking. When the results come in, their words won't matter anymore. Because nothing is more satisfying than watching someone who doubted you realize they were wrong. Not because you argued with them, not because you proved your point, but because you let success make the statement for you. The final test of respect. In the end, people don't remember what you said. They remember what you did. The loudest arguments won't make them believe, but your results? They'll be impossible to ignore. And when that happens, even your biggest doubters will have to admit, you were right all along. Respect isn't about being the loudest. It's not about proving yourself to everyone in the room. It's about control. Control over your emotions, over your reactions, and most importantly, over your energy. Let's break it down one last time. Control yourself, and you control the room. The moment you let someone shake you, you give them power. Stay composed, and you hold all the cards. Not every battle is worth fighting. Learn when to engage and when to walk away. Most of the time, silence is the strongest response. Haters feed off your reaction. Don't give it to them. When you stay calm, you make them powerless. Your words should be sharp and deliberate. Speak with intention, but know when silence is a stronger weapon. Let your success do the talking. Don't waste energy arguing, just win. That shuts everyone up. Master these, and you'll notice something interesting. People will start treating you differently. They'll listen more when you speak. They'll take you more seriously. And most importantly, they'll respect you, even if they don't like you. Because in the end, respect isn't given. It's earned. If you master these principles, people will respect you. But if you master what I'm about to show you next, they won't just respect you, they'll want to follow you, they'll want to be like you. Watch my next video, where I break down the hidden psychology of power, the kind that makes you impossible to ignore.